Mike, as somebody who once worked for Coors, let's just start there with this attack to a certain extent from Anheuser-Busch on them in terms of using corn syrup. Do you think it was effective?
You know, I thought it was hilarious because for the most part, everyone's looking around the room trying to figure out, does beer have corn syrup? So it was a little bit of positioning from Budweiser's perspective to take on Miller and take on Coors in that spot. I don't know how effective it was. I clearly don't believe that corn syrup is going to be an issue from someone that wants to enjoy their favorite beverage.
Yeah, especially not if they've got a soda sitting right next to whatever else it is they're drinking while they're watching the Super Bowl, which a lot of people probably did. Mike, one of the things that struck me about this slate of Super Bowl commercials, I don't miss the sexist and the crass in this slate. There were some bad ones, of course, but there were some good ones, and the good ones didn't fall back on old tropes. What do you think that says?
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. I mean, a lot of the brands really did a really nice job positioning themselves around key messages. If you look at the Audi e-tron ad, I thought the Toyota ad with the young lady, Tony Harris, was really well done and very inspirational. Obviously, Microsoft's getting a lot of buzz around the whole notion of its products appealing to children with disabilities that enable them to participate in the kind of gaming community. So again, I love some of the positive messages out there, and the fact that there were over 80 celebrities in the kind of scheme of ads was pretty fun.
Mike, to that point, what would you consider to be the winners and the losers? And I guess more than that, how are companies that doled out $5 million plus seeing their commercials as winners or losers? I mean, because we hear about things that are controversial, but is it social media traction? Is it, you know, sales over a certain amount of time? How do they quantify that?
Well, I think a lot of brands are going to have their particular objectives for being in the Super Bowl, but a couple examples I would like to use is Verizon, right? So Verizon's obviously a telecom player, participating and competing very heavily, spending a lot of money against the likes of AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. But they took the opportunity to deliver a message that was very powerful. It was delivered in a series of ads that broke, you know, online before the game, and the spot that they ran, you know, featuring the coach of the Anthony Lynn was very powerful as well. And then conversely, you know, T-Mobile resorted to their traditional messaging. Sprint resorted to their traditional messaging. So I got to believe that Verizon was one of the big winners, just in the way that they positioned themselves around a message around first responders. Then conversely. And then conversely, you look at the just number of new brands that participated in the game, and whether you like the Devour spot or Bumble with Serena Williams, these are brands that literally are looking for awareness and not shy to spend that money on the biggest stage in sports.
Julia, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say we definitely saw that Verizon did win the day when it came to views on YouTube as well as tweets on Twitter. And we're increasingly see these brands try to invest to support that investment in the Super Bowl spot. So they're spending $5.2 million on a Super Bowl spot, which means they're going to want to invest more elsewhere. They're going to want to invest in ads on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook to drive people to that message. And whether it's a longer version of the ad on YouTube or more tweets to sort of spread that message more broadly, they want to make sure that they get the most possible out of that 30-second spot investment. And especially with ratings down, the way that they maximize that return on investment is really off TV, and it's really on those social platforms.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Julia. How much of buying a Super Bowl ad isn't about getting the ad seen on the Super Bowl? It's about marketing your marketing, getting people to watch it on YouTube, on Facebook, getting a conversation going that then propels your brand in some direction.
That's absolutely important, John. And I think the way these marketers think about it is the Super Bowl ad is the centerpiece. That's what they are building up towards. We saw a ton of these ads released ahead of time. Some of them wanted to have a big surprise, so there were teasers released ahead of time. But they think of the Super Bowl as the centerpiece of something that they want to live both before and after. And they really need to invest, you know, often months of planning to make sure that they get the most bang for their buck. And sometimes they'll start the teasers months ahead of time. So we're really seeing that it's all part of sort of the annual strategy for these brands. And it was interesting if you look at Bud Light and the fact that they killed off their Bud Night as part of a partnership with Game of Thrones. I mean, that was a big deal. That's getting a lot of buzz, and especially if you think of that Bud Night as being part of sort of a longer trajectory of these Budweiser ads. They're thinking, how is this going to be worth it? How much are people going to be talking about this? And how does this fit with what we did last year, what we're going to do this summer, et cetera?